So let's see. So is anybody who's new to constellations? Okay, awesome, great. So Family Constellations was founded by a man called Bert Ellinger. And he's a German man, and through his life and travels, he learned psychotherapy, and he did it very unconventionally, where he discovered a couple of different things. One profound thing that he discovered was the order of love. And in the order of love, when we restore our place in our family system, there's a great deal of healing that can happen. Our family lineage is 50% of our DNA, 50% male, 50% female. It makes up 100% of who we are. When we're out of alignment with our ancestral line, whether it's male or female or both, then we also feel out of alignment in life. And what Bert Hellinger found was when we can restore any disillusions, entanglements that we have with our family, we can also become a more whole and complete person. And accepting, not forgiving, because forgiving still makes us bigger, and it doesn't allow us to move forward. It makes us bigger than our parents. We're still judging them, when realistically, if we accept where they've been, what their life lessons are, and not judge them for whatever choices they made, we can then move on without the entanglements. Does that make sense to everybody? So one of the big things that I believe, as I've done over 30 constellations to heal myself in the last 3-4 years, I really dived in to heal myself. And one of the big things that was important for me is finding my place in the world. And for me, I always felt like an alien in my family. I felt like an alien on planet Earth, but that's a different, bigger story. But as I didn't feel like I belonged in my family system. I always felt like I was the stepchild. I always felt like I was window shopping, and I was always looking in, and I was never going to be part of this bigger, I was never going to be in the Tiffany box kind of thing. So as I worked on myself, it was profound stuff started happening for me. I really did not deny who I was anymore. Did not deny my spiritual path, nor did I deny that I have a bigger purpose in life, that I knew that I was here for whatever reason and that I need to get on my life purpose. And so as I've worked on myself, I've sort of hopefully helped restore my family system. I know my relationship with my mother is far greater than it's ever been. She doesn't hassle me as much as she used to. She doesn't, she's not critical like she used to be. So as I've worked on myself, it's also profoundly affected her. So what we're going to do is I'll give you a couple of examples of some stuff that we've done that's made some big impacts. I have a client who then became a very close friend, on the verge of suicide, and that was heartbreaking for me to hear. But having gone through so much myself, I wanted to help him when we did a constellation. And in that constellation, what showed up was I'd done some readings for him, and his birth order was switched, and it's almost like him and his paternal twin had switched birthplaces right at the last minute. One said, no, I'm going to go first, and the other one was like, all right. And when I did a reading, I could tell that they switched. And what happened in the constellation was the birth order that they had originally come in karmically before they incarnated into life showed up in the constellation. But on Earth, in reality, my client is actually the older one. But in the constellation, it was like, no. His paternal was like, no, I'm the older one. So there's already discord with them. They have a lot of depression in the family, and you know, his brother's been in and out of jail, drugs, alcohol. So you can see, you know, there's a lot of discord. What also showed up was there was a third twin that did not incarnate at all. So are these people constantly drawn to the death of this twin that never came to fruition? Is that where the depression and anxiety and the need to leave, you know, this life? So my friend always says, you know, I want to go home, I want to go home. And I understand, because I've had those thoughts and feelings where I wanted to go home. And so is he drawn to the twin? What showed up was very interesting. We put the parents in, and the immediate thing that I saw was the mother was a little withdrawn, but there was nothing but love from the father. The father had an immense amount of love for his children. But his father has been estranged for a couple of years, alcoholic, you know, drugs and alcohol addiction. 2 days after the constellation, the father called the son, and then they started rebonding after 2 years of an estranged relationship. So the conscious field, or the unconscious field, opens up Pandora's box on such a soul level that it can impact us right here and now. So that's really the impact of constellations can be really profound. This year he had another suicide bout, and that night what showed up was he was holding his dead twin, but this time he was able to release it back to the mother where it belongs, the karma belongs. And then what also showed up this time was, and I had told him in some readings that I did, was there's hidden secrets in his family system, all on his father's side. And what the hidden secret ended up showing up, and I had no idea this was all going to show up in the constellation, but what showed up in the constellation was he comes from a long line of closeted, hidden gay men, and he's out there. He does not hide it in this lifetime. He's like, I'm gay, and I don't really care. And so he didn't really come out. He's just like, this is who I am. And what showed up in the constellation was actually this time the mother's conflict of constantly blaming the father for her son being gay. And so is the father gay? We don't know. But the DNA comes from the male line. And then in the constellation, there was a massive amount of bonding in the male line. But the males all marry females just to have presence in the society. That particular night, Sarah did her constellation, and also there were gay issues in her family system. So at a bigger level, on an unconscious field, how things get organized are amazing, because I had no idea that all these gay issues were going to show up in one night. So that was pretty amazing too. And then everybody in the room was also like, whoa, this is like the first constellation, but they're two different people. So it was pretty profound. And then a lot of times when you're working in somebody's constellation, somehow people always say it affects them because they have similar issues in their life or in their family system. So it's pretty profound work.